Hello, and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. Today I'd like to talk about GoogleGate, the recent scandal in which Google fired one of their engineers, Mr. James Damore, because he'd written an essay, essentially, regarding diversity. If you're interested, you can find his essay online. It's a well-written essay, it's referenced, and essentially he's arguing that Google is at risk, or he has become an ideological echo chamber regarding the issues of diversity in the workplace, particularly in the tech sector. And if you have opposing views or facts-based views, as some would say, they're squashed. Now he's been fired. And it's interesting seeing that this perspective of Google as an ideological echo chamber, particularly with what's happened. Because his memo went public. It was up there for a month, nothing happened. When it went public, it got out there, and Google sacked him within probably a day. Now, many people wanted to interview him, many journalists want to speak to him, want to get his side of the story. The first interview I heard was with Professor Jordan Peterson. He did a Skype interview with James, and it was quite interesting. If you watch it, it felt like a discussion between an academic and a student. And it felt like Professor Peterson was assessing James's work, his essay, and providing feedback, was checking the legitimacy of his arguments, the references that he called upon, and gave him advice in dealing with the situation, particularly because James is going to be attacked from the media for putting this together. Now, it's quite appropriate considering Peterson's recent experience, where he's been attacked by social justice warriors, or as I like to call them, social justice cowards, because of his previous arguments and his positions and the media and the product that he's putting out, the speeches that Peterson's putting out. Now, from this interview, you can pick up and understand, get an appreciation of James's character and his work ethic. His last performance review, he got superb, apparently, which is the highest you can get. He was there for 4 years, 3 years as an employee, 1 as an intern. But not surprisingly, Peterson seems to have had an influence on James. So James was going to these diversity meetings that they had at Google, which were not recorded, which is contrary to everything else they did, where essentially they were admitting that they were acting illegally and using race and gender as part of the selection criteria of employees, which frankly isn't fair. Now, this is one case, one side of the argument. Now, I'd like to talk about a second argument, which is Scott Adams' position, the master persuader, hypnotist, who people are asking his take on it, and he does a very entertaining periscope. Scott became notorious, really, because he predicted Trump's win before anyone else would even give Trump any legitimacy, just based on Trump's persuasion skills. Now, he admits he hasn't read the memo in detail, but he's on the side of Google and James. He says the employee, James, has a right to use his free speech and to articulate his opinion on something, but Google also has the right to protect their brand. He supports them firing their employee because he argues that they need to protect their brand, which he says, or he positions as being super inclusive. Now, Google's motto, which came to prominence in 2000, was "Don't be evil." Sounds all nice and happy. And I can see how that can morph today to be super diversive. They want to be seen as a good company. They want to help people. They want to bring in a variety of people. They want to help minorities. They want to help women. They want to be a great place to work. And judging by their environment, what you hear, it sounds like a fantastic place. Now, regardless of the danger of Google becoming an ideological echo chamber, they need to protect their brand. It's important how people perceive Google. Everyone uses it. They're the largest media and communication company in the world. Now, they need to be seen as being inclusive. They need to be seen as not being racist. Even if, to achieve this diversity narrative they want to, they actually have to implement racist policies to achieve it. Now, another interesting point is that Adams argues that people have two opinions. You'll have your private opinion that you'll have one-on-one, and then you'll have a public opinion. Now, he warrant that Google has a public opinion that's tied up with their brand, and the employees need to align with that when they're in the public sphere. When there's a danger of their private position conflicting with that, regardless of the facts, then Google needs to act on it. So here we have two perspectives. We've got the academic perspective, where it's a factually based assessment, and then you've got the master persuader perspective, where it's based on more emotive and perception and branding. I'd say that they're both right. Both arguments are right. James is going to come out of this for the better. You know, he won't be employed at Google anymore, but he's also getting other opportunities. People know that he exists now. It's going to be tough for him. He'll be attacked by the social justice cowards, by the media. They all try and find anything in his personal character that they can attack, because they won't be bothered to actually read through the memo, because it's facts-based, and to them facts aren't important. I mean, come on, they're SJWs. They don't even know how to do statistics. From my perspective, this is all part of a journey where we're moving towards a truly merit-based society. Now, the challenge here is with the social justice warring and social justice crowd have to realize that some of their arguments are flawed. They've gotten to the point where they've become ideologues, where they're grouping people into, you know, averages. You're this race, so you must be like this. You're this sex, so you must be like this. They don't appreciate the fact that there's a lot of overlay between different demographics, and people generally achieve based on the opportunities that they have or the capabilities that they have as a person. And to a lot of people in business now, it isn't as black and white or as unpleasant as people perceive it to be. Now, this is going to be an interesting fallout for what happens. Honestly, I think Google will be fine. You know, it'll all blow over. I think James will be fine. It'll all blow over. I think Scott definitely has some points with regard to their branding and their perception. But I also think Peterson encouraging James to articulate the truth and to not be afraid to engage with the media to get his persona out so they can't damage us is valuable too. I'd like to hear what your opinions are on this. You know, should we all ban using all Google products? Is that even possible these days? You know, should we just blindly follow what the social justice crowd are saying and push for diversity for its own sake? Or are we just becoming an ideological sheep, bowing to the social justice gods and doing what they say? Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of Heise Says. If you enjoyed this episode, please like. If you'd like to see more of what we're doing, click on the subscribe button, which I'll put up here, to watch other videos we've produced. It'll magically pop up here above me. If you'd like to support our channel, we have Patreon and PayPal. Thank you very much.